Okay, good morning, everyone. We're going to get started, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. So welcome to the Purple Team Assessment webinar. This is going to show you our new assessment, which is a comprehensive evaluation of your cloud security. And we do offer this for free. So a few housekeeping items before we get started. So if you want to ask questions, you can just use the Q&A and we'll have time for questions at the end. And we are recording this, so if you had a coworker or know someone who wanted to attend, don't worry, we are going to record it and we'll post it to our YouTube channel. Okay, so in just a moment, I'll introduce myself and my partner who will be speaking today. We'll go over the company, Skyhawk Security, in case you're not familiar, and we'll look at challenges of the SOC, what our solution is, the Skyhawk Synthesis Security Platform, and then we'll go over the Purple Team Assessment, and then I'll hand it over to Jean to give an overview of the Purple Team Assessment report and the product, and we'll also have time for questions. So first I have with me Gene Perry, who's the Director of Sales Engineering, and Gene and I have actually worked together for many years, so it's nice to be with him again at Skyhawk. And he's been working with customers to help them achieve their business objectives for over 20 years, working with many different kinds of technologies, including cloud and security. So Gene, thank you so much for being my partner on this webinar today.
It's my pleasure to be here today, Jennifer, and looking forward to always looking forward to talking about our Purple Team assessment and the Purple Team capabilities themselves, which are really groundbreaking and innovative to the market. Thanks, Jennifer.
Yeah, thank you. So it is a really exciting product, and I'm sure you'll all see why in just a few minutes. And my name is Jennifer Gill. I'm the Vice President of Product Marketing here at Skyhawk, and I've been working in product marketing with technologies a little longer than I care to admit. And I've held various positions at Zerto, Commvault, Pegasystems, and of course at Skyhawk Security. So let's take a look at the company. So we're a spinoff from Radware. So this was a technology that Radware had for a few years, and we got spun off in May of 22. We have a very rich experience in security. So our leadership team, a lot of our developers, data science team, et cetera, they've been working in cloud security and data science and for a really long time. So we have experts from across the industry. We have a global customer base from the Fortune 100 all the way up to small, medium enterprise. Our platform is the Skyhawk Synthesis Security Platform, and we're an AI-based cloud security solution, which focuses on cloud threat detection and response, as well as the Purple Team. We'll get into that. We support the 3 major clouds and Kubernetes, and you can see we have some exciting awards and recognition. So the one I'll highlight is the Cloud Security Awards. We get recognized for Cloud Innovator of the Year, and that was with the Purple Team and our AI-based solution. Okay, so if you're in the SOC, you're under a lot of pressure. And I think that's probably the understatement of the year. So there's a lot of reports that show cloud attacks are up 75% year over year. There's a shortage of manpower. It's tough to find people who have the experience that's needed. Thousands of alerts are coming your way, and most of them are false positives. So while you're spending time figuring out that this alert is not actually a threat or a risk to your business, threat actors are in your environment and in your cloud and moving along laterally and getting to things where they're not supposed to get to. And then finally, AI. So we use AI for good, but threat actors can use AI to really sharpen their messages and sharpen their tools. And we've seen attack times go from 16 hours down to 5 minutes with AI. So it can be used for bad. We're going to talk about how to use it for good, though. And that's where we come into this Skyhawk Synthesis Security Platform. So it's a proactive approach to cloud security. And we do that with our AI-based autonomous Purple Team. So it's an AI-based red team, an AI-based blue team, which are fighting each other and surfacing potential risks in a proactive way, so you can address them before the threat actors find them. We're able to offer CTEM, or rather, we're able to support your programmatic approach to CTEM with Skyhawk. And then on the right-hand side there, you see kind of just some quick details. So onboarding in minutes, it's a simple agentless solution. It's a SaaS solution. So you're just focusing on consuming it. And it's a multi-cloud solution in a single UI. So this is what the platform encompasses. So we have the red-based team, the red team, the AI-based red team. Try saying that 5 times fast. And that maps out where your crown jewels are and then executes attacks. The blue team, which is our cloud threat detection and response, which you've had around for quite a while, and includes 3 levels of AI. And that is what's working against the red team and trying to defend your cloud and your crown jewel assets. From this, we're able to see where does the red team get past the blue team, and then provide some context on what those assets are, and then pre-validated and pre-verified automated responses. So you're going to see something that happens. You're going to know you don't want that to happen. So we can adjust the cloud threat detection to that and create an automated response to stop that threat from moving to anything like an incident or worse, a breach. And then Jean, do you want to talk about the contextual cloud asset inventory?
Yeah, so what's really important, Jennifer, to understand and for all the attendees to understand is that specifically our AI-based red team is really what's responsible for creating that digital topology or digital sandbox that the purple team operates in and virtually runs those all of the attacks and scenarios. And we understand, the red team understands, all of that topology, how all of your cloud assets connect with their networks, connect with their identities, with roles, with security policies. And so understanding that whole cloud context is then where the red team starts to build its attack paths and scenarios from, which I'll talk more about.
Perfect, thank you. Okay. So as I mentioned, we get started with our cloud threat detection and response. It has 3 levels of AI. So we have our malicious and suspicious behavior indicators. So those give kind of an indication that there could be something coming. And if you look at the malicious and suspicious behavior indicators, they're correlating like behaviors. So, hey, we saw this API call. We saw several API calls instigated from this user all at this time that's unusual. That will be a single malicious behavior indicator. And we start to create those within your cloud. Then we sequence those. So we kind of see this role was compromised. Then the threat actor executed all these API calls. Maybe they moved over to another port. So we'll start to sequence those. And then we look at the overall risk of that sequence. And then we promote it to an alert. And we do that using LLMs, and we have our generative AI CISO, which helps us promote attack sequences to alerts up to 78% faster without false positives. So we're very proud of all our AI machine learning and our integration with LLMs. And we've done a lot of work training those to find those threats faster in your cloud. So Jean mentioned on the inventory. So we're collecting data sources, logs, and telemetry, and we're pulling that all into the platform. Then we enrich the data to build baseline behavioral models. So for your environment, we'll create custom machine learning models. Those are updated daily to prevent drift, and also to ensure that threat actors can't reverse engineer them. And that's one of the applications of AI, unfortunately. So we prevent that from happening because we're updating the models every single day. So you have this baseline of machine learning models. Then it starts to sort through all that data and it starts to pick out some of the more interesting events and then sequence them. And then they get promoted to an alert. So that's the blue team. Then the red team integrates together with the blue team to create the purple team. So we discover the inventories, the environment's inventory, the configuration, where the crown jewels are. Then we analyze the least resistant paths to those most important crown jewels and create the attacks that will be simulated. Then we evaluate the defenses. So we find posture gaps, and we can generate the automated response or remediation. And then the last step is to update the CDR, so the machine learning models that we just described. Once we do this, then we just repeat it again and see where the AI-based red team can get past our cloud threat detection and response. So what is the Purple Team assessment? So this is a short assessment that surfaces gaps in your cloud security. Now, I could describe an onboarding meeting, but Jean has actually conducted the onboarding meeting, so I thought it might be best to have Jean talk a little bit about what the onboarding process is. So Jean, over to you.
Sure, thanks, Jennifer. Yeah, and the onboarding is really really quick and simple in terms of onboarding your cloud account or accounts to our platform. It's literally less than a handful of clicks through our UI, and just a couple of operations within your cloud console. For instance, adding a Skyhawk cross-account role and granting us a couple of default security policies within the contextual cloud that we're going to be onboarding. That literally typically takes about 5 or 10 minutes. We also have and recommend the option of creating, you see on one of the bullets here on the slide, discussion of business priority rules. One of the key things that the Purple team can do and wants to do is actually identify and use your crown jewel assets that you can identify through our business priority rules. These could be any type of asset within the context of the cloud, whether it's a data asset like a database or a bucket, or you could actually define and map an entire application to a business priority rule to then assign the priority of crown jewel or something lower to that. And the other thing that we can also very easily and quickly on board with is we integrate with vulnerability management platforms, because you'll see one of the techniques that the Purple team will evaluate and look for in your environment are any open common vulnerabilities or CVEs. So we can integrate very easily with vulnerability managers like AWS's Inspector or the Tenable platform, and we're adding more and more platforms all the time, right? And then typically within about 24 hours, we'll start to see results, like you can see on one of the slides here, of those different attack scenarios that is being reported, and then we'll have a follow-up meeting where we'll review those with you in detail and go through the assessment report that we'll do as part of the demo, and provide you with that takeaway report as well.
Okay, perfect. And then here's just a few examples of what you'll see on the report. So you can see that the attack scenarios and the attack paths and things like that. And you'll notice that these kind of trend over time. So although we do get results in 24 hours, the longer it goes, the more trends we'll be able to see. So I am going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to Jean for a demo of the product.
And so you should see my screen at this point. And
yes.
What I'm going to do is take the first few minutes to actually jump right into the product and resulting scenarios of the Purple team. Go through one or two of those, and then we'll take a look at and wrap up with the actual assessment report of the environment that you're looking at here. All right. So. When we get into move into the Purple team menu of our platform, the screen here are the resulting scenarios that you'll see, and I'm just going to take a moment to touch on a couple of the columns here so that we have a little bit better sense of what we're looking at when we start to jump into one of the scenarios. So obviously you see the title of the different scenarios that have been created in this environment. And the initial access is a really important column here, and what this denotes are the different hacking techniques that malicious actors will use to gain access to your cloud. And that's one of the focus areas of the red team after it builds that digital sandbox of your environment and looking for least resistant paths to your business critical and crown jewel assets is really looking at in those attack scenarios, what is the entry or initial access point that could be breached to then be able to carry out that particular attack in this case. And you can actually see all of the initial access points listed here. One of the key ones that I'm actually going to jump into first is one of the third-party examples, or you could literally think of this as a supply chain attack example as well, because we found that and customers have been asking for us for this for a while to show them with all of the third-party and partner access that's given to your cloud, because you're using some third-party application and giving some trusted access to one of your business partners. If those credentials of that account or the third party's cloud is actually breached by a malicious actor, that can in some cases lead to a malicious actor actually getting access to your cloud. So let's take a look at, you'll see the purple icon here. One of the reasons I'm going to jump right into this example is because this denotes that there are crown jewel assets involved in this attack scenario. So let's take a look at this. The first view, when we look at the attack scenario, is we'll see the timeline view that highlights for us the starting point of the malicious actor gaining access to our cloud, and then you'll start to see the different paths that or different path in this case that the malicious actor is taking. You'll see moving from assuming a third-party role here is actually how this attack began. We'll talk more about that in a minute, and then actually being able to assume one of our own native roles within our cloud environment, and eventually being able to access one of our crown jewel assets, an S3 bucket where we have some customer data, and then launching a new EC2 machine, which is really key to this attack in a really dangerous way that this was able to be executed. I'll touch more on that. You'll see the tags here within the attack of the crown jewel. You'll also see the third party. The third party is noted here. What enabled the actor to get trusted access to our cloud was a breach of the credentials. In this case, it looks like Palo Alto is how that was achieved. Now, if we take a look at and I move over to the red team menu, this is where you'll see the entire attack playbook for this particular scenario, and starts off with the presumed entry point of the malicious actor gaining access, and then you'll start to see step by step in the contextual cloud commands, including the full commands that could be run by your team. You can see a quick copy button here enabling you to manually run the commands singly or in total. And besides the commands, any type of potential code that's needed in terms of an exploit in the case of a vulnerability would also be provided as part of that playbook. So we can scroll through and see every single command that would take us through that timeline, moving through jumping from one role to another into our cloud, accessing the S3 bucket, and then using actually the AWS pass role permission that was on the role, instantiating a new EC2 instance, and exfiltrating data from that bucket through the EC2 instance, using that as a transfer point out to the malicious actor's external workstation, right? So that's the full playbook for this particular attack. If we jump over to, and one of the key things that every one of the scenarios will always list for you in the Security Advisor tab that I moved over to here is, of course, remediation and suggestions and recommendations. and in plain English, the storyline and full explanation of the attack. But the really key section here for most on the security advisor is the root cause. So in terms of this, you know, the purple team is great at providing you what I'll call future attacks against your cloud, along with the prevention, the weighted prevention through the root cause that's denoted here. And this one's really interesting in that it used the pass role permission, which is a really dangerous and powerful permission because it allows a user to instantiate or assign that role to a service. Like in this case, we saw an EC2 instance. It could also be used with in conjunction with the Lambda. So it can be a really dangerous permission. All right. Let's move back to and take a look at the blue team side. And what's key about the blue team side is it gives you the insight into verifying and validating not only what the alert will look like for this particular attack and all of the MBIs that Jennifer explained as we scroll through this, but it does two other key things as well. Is that the blue team side of the purple team is automatically updating those your models for within our CDR of the platform for any of these MBIs that don't already exist within your environment today. So as new supply chain attacks, new zero-day attacks are run against the purple team in your environment, you'll see those models updated automatically from the blue team within the purple team into your CDR. Right. This also allows you the capability to not only verify what the alert would be, but also plan for and start to create your playbooks for auto responding and auto remediation against a potential attack and breach of this kind. Okay. So let's take a look at the assessment report for this particular environment and these results. Very similar to what Jennifer showed us earlier. And again, this will begin to be available and updated on a continuous basis with the first results. And then as you can see at the top, it will be updated continuously from a trending perspective. So you'll see here if there's additional attack scenarios that are discovered within the environment and multiple attack paths within each of those scenarios and the identified crown jewels that may be at risk in the environment. In the next row here, we'll see the different supply chain risks within the environment. You can see some of the third parties that have trusted access to this environment, where scenarios were discovered with that trusted access that we should certainly review. And then we can see the prioritized top crown jewels that are at risk within the scenarios. And lastly, here to the right, the attacks summarized by impact in terms of the data exfiltration, whether it be by, in these cases, S3 exfiltration or RDS snapshots or new snapshots created from a new database instance. And then lastly, by entry point, we can see user phishing attacks, CVEs, third parties, and federated roles as well. And then finally, at the bottom of the report, you will see from a priority perspective, the most prioritized scenarios within the environment from a summary perspective. Any questions, Jennifer, that we should cover at this point?
Sorry, I just realized I went on mute. So I don't see any related to the demo at this time. So I think.
Okay.
Continue with the presentation.
Yeah, so that's really all I had for this morning.
Okay, great. So I just have a couple more slides.
Okay, let me stop sharing and hand it back to you.
Okay. So here we have a case study from our Fortune 100 company. So they were using a leading cloud CNAP provider, and they were having issues because there was many false positives, and so there was a lot of back and forth between DevSecOps and the CISO. Like DevSecOps team kept saying, no, this really isn't an issue. We can leave it like this. And the CISO, but I'm getting this finding from the CNAP provider. So there was a lack of risk validation. There was no proactive observability. And it looked like what the CISO saw as findings that may be risky, the DevSecOps team kept invalidating, saying, no, this is actually fine. This is how it should look in the cloud. So the solution was Skyhawk. So the AI-based red team could look at the weaponized risks. So see at what of the CNAP findings could actually be leveraged by a threat actor to actually cause an incident or a breach within their cloud. So this additional layer of validation really showed like, hey, these are weaponized and can be an issue, and these are just false, so we can ignore them. So really help them sort through what should be addressed and help them prioritize based on the business value of the assets. So they were on board in just a few minutes. They get the weaponized risk report. The AI-based red team identified several potential complex attacks that could have caused a massive breach. And then the CDR was able to respond in near real time and stop an incident from becoming a breach. And that was a significant benefit that they saw. So we were able to present the real weaponized risks, identify the complex attack vectors, validate security findings from others' tools to say, hey, this is a true alert, and this is not something you need to worry about. Jean, did I miss anything on this customer?
No, I think this covers it all, Jennifer. This is a great summary of the challenges and quite frankly, the great results that we provided to the customer that then adopted our solution.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to hit quickly on what makes us different. So adaptive CDR. So the machine learning models, because we're updating those daily, your cloud is changing all the time. We're going to adapt our machine learning models to that changing architecture so that we are able to detect those threats. You can operationalize and automate CTEM to tackle the biggest threats first. I realized when I finished the purple team slide, I kind of missed this point, and it's a really big, important point, actually, that with the purple team, so we're identifying paths to crown jewel assets. Those are your most valuable assets. Where the red team is able to penetrate, we prioritize what needs to be fixed based on the business value of the asset. So you're going to start with the most important vulnerabilities and weaknesses within your cloud security that can lead to the biggest incidents or breaches for you first. And that's one of the real benefits of the purple team. So it's not just that you're able to be proactive, it's that you're able to be proactive against what's going to be the biggest problem for you. And then lastly, improve SOC productivity with trusted automation for remediation response. So because you know that you don't want something to happen, and you've seen that in the AI-based environment, Skyhawk will create an automated response to stop that from happening. And it's been verified, so you know that it's going to work, and you know that it's not going to affect your production environment. We've seen organizations not move forward with automated response because they're worried what will happen in production. You're going to know what will happen in production with Skyhawk, and it's going to work. So this is really kind of the platform in a nutshell. So it's stop chasing security, predict the future, and prevent the breach. So a programmatic approach to cloud security, improving the efficiency of your team, be able to mitigate new threats, including Gen AI-based attacks. And it's protection that's always evolved, always aligned to your evolving cloud. So you're changing your cloud requirements to meet your business requirements. Does your security match and align to that? With Skyhawk, it always will match and align. And that's all we have for today. So we did have a couple questions come in, not related to the demo. But if you do want to try out a free assessment, so if you go to our homepage, there's a banner across the top. Just click on that link, and it'll take you to a form to fill out. And then we'll contact you, and we will set up your time for your free assessment. So, a couple questions. So this one we get a lot. So what's the difference between a CNAP and Skyhawk? So the CNAP really focuses on misconfiguration posture, and it's more like findings. Hey, we found this and it may be problematic, but it may not be problematic. With cloud threat detection and response, it's here are events and behaviors that are malicious and they're happening right now. And with Skyhawk, we actually take CDR one step further by going from reacting to proactive with the purple team. So we're able to layer on the business context of the crown jewels and look at where the threat actor could penetrate your security so you can beef that up or put in automated response as needed. The next second one, how long does it take to get results for the purple team assessment from onboarding? So as Jean mentioned, onboarding takes just an hour or two, and then we can get results in 24 hours. But Jean, I see you're nodding your head, so I'm going to let you add a little bit to that.
No, that's what I was going to say, Jennifer, was within 24 hours, we'll typically start to see results. If it's a huge environment and many accounts within an organization, we'll again typically start to see results. They may not be the complete results for the assessment, but we'll start to see some of those initial results. And of course, you'll have access to that to our UI and to see your results over the coming until the assessment is closed out, which we'll agree to and work on together.
Okay. And then the last question is, what is your pricing model? So we're priced by cloud asset. We do have tiers. So the more you buy, we have, tier-based discounting. And we are a subscription-based pricing model as well, because we are a SaaS platform. So, Jean, anything I missed there? That seems kind of...
No, that you described it perfectly in terms of our licensable cloud assets. Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, thank you all for attending today. Jean, thank you so much for doing this webinar with me. It's a pleasure to do it with you and to get your feedback. And I also like the back and forth. The discussion is great.
Thanks for having me, Jennifer. Appreciate being here and really enjoyed being here as well.
All right. Thank you everyone for your time and attention. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.